What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kylie and Cole, episode 7. As we head into week 8, Kylie had her bye week already for her wedding anniversary and Nick's birthday, her husband Nick's birthday. So we're on week 8, but we're on episode 7, and we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about Chiefs and Chargers. That's already in the past, but we'll touch on that briefly. Talk a little bit, maybe trade deadline stuff. A certain Chiefs player got arrested. Another Chiefs receiver is trending towards playing, surprisingly, already this Sunday after I thought he was going to be out for a little bit longer. A former Chief signed with a team. Frank Clark signed with a team, but it was not Kansas City. It was a different former team, so we're going to talk about that, and then we'll obviously preview Chiefs versus Broncos Part 2 and much freaking more. But first, how about the Chiefs? All right, just so you guys know, if you do any kind of super chats, super stickers, membership stuff, all that, I will definitely address that last 10 or 15 minutes. Me and Kylie will. So if you have questions you want to ask that you specifically want us to get to, feel free to throw something out there. You don't have to. I'll try to look at comments along the way and favorite some that are intriguing if I can. I'm pretty bad at multitasking, guys, okay? So I'm going to be trying to talk with Kylie, monitor chat, and all that stuff. But with all that being said, Kylie, how the heck are you? Week 8. We're basically almost halfway through the football season, which is crazy.
I know. Don't say that. That makes me sad. I'm like, how did we get already this far into the season? I mean, it's Halloween is next week. The fall is here. I don't know about you, but we've had some rain lately, so it's got some leaves about to fall. Yeah, we actually haven't had as much, being a little further south. It hasn't been as bad as you guys have gotten, but we're supposed to get a ton this weekend. So I know all those beautiful, beautiful leaves will start to fall. But no, it's things are good. Things are great. Weather's been good. The Chiefs are 6-1 atop the AFC. Can't be mad about that, right? All
Nope.
Smiles.
I'm not mad about that. Do you
know
what this is referencing? No. All right, remind me at the end and I'll show you the video. But Tom Pelissero had a huge mess up on NFL Network, and he accidentally said some wrong words, and it made it seem very crazy. It was a complete mistake, but it's freaking hilarious. So I'll show you at the end because it's so funny.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's so funny. Let's talk a little bit, just real quickly here, Chiefs Chargers and your thought on that game. The Chiefs ended up winning 31-17. Patrick Mahomes threw for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Travis Kelce had the second most receiving yards in a game of his career. Back-to-back games, 100-plus yards receiving in the first half for Kelce. Rashee Rice is continuing to catch fire. Charles Omenihu returned. There's kind of a lot there that I've already talked about extensively on this channel. So any thoughts you have from that game, I would welcome them.
Yeah. So first of all, whenever the game started, I really thought this was going to be a shootout. The way it was going back and forth for a while, I was like, okay, well, I predicted we only have 27 points, but the way this is going, it might be 40-41 or something at the end. But luckily, our defense made some really great adjustments coming out of the second half, and we were able to contain them. I think we had a shutout in the second half, didn't let them score any points. Yeah. So that was awesome. Defense made those adjustments. Spags is really great about that. And then, like you said, offensively, what else can you say about Travis Kelce? I mean, the guy ages like a fine wine. I know. What do you have? 179 yards throughout the entire game and a touchdown, which that touchdown was hilarious. If the slow motion of him falling into the end zone and his eyes are kind of looking at the pylon, I don't know, am I in? And then to hear him talk about that moment, I don't know if you listened to New Heights, but he talked about that moment and how he was like, don't drop it, don't fumble. This is such a risky situation. And you can kind of see it all in his eyes. But I thought it was good. The offense looked much better. Now, granted, it is against not great Chargers defense, but I'll take it. I mean, I felt like we were a lot more in sync. 4 different guys had touchdowns, so I still think they're doing a great job of spreading the ball around. Rashee Rice, like you said, continues to improve. He is on pace, I think, to have like 750 or 800 yards this season. So kudos to him. He has almost, in my opinion, solidified himself as the wide receiver one. Obviously, Kelce is technically a wide receiver one if you want to get technical with yards and everything. But no, I thought it was great. It was a fun game. I was happy that we won by 2 scores and I wasn't biting my nails at the end of the game because I definitely thought that's where we were going to be. But it was a great game. I would like to hear just a little bit of your thoughts. I know you've talked about it a lot, but what were your immediate takeaways?
Well, first off, the second quarter was freaking crazy. It was 4 touchdown drives in a row, all 75 yards. And so it was like 20 plays, 300 yards, resulting in 4 touchdowns. So 2 from each team, but it was like ping pong, touchdown, 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 touchdown. MVS had 50 yards. I can't remember their running back's name. He had a 50-yard run. Then the Chiefs drove back down the field thanks to a huge Travis Kelce catch and run up the left sideline, and Mahomes said a younger Kelce would have scored there. So maybe Kelce's not moving as quick per se. But then they ended up getting, I think that might have been the drive maybe that they scored that touchdown to Kelce, but Tony was wide open. They ran a super interesting play with Tony. They faked Mahomes faked like he was calling him in motion, and he stops and then stands there. And then when they hike it, he goes back. I was like, well, that was interesting. And he actually got wide open, was open for a touchdown. Mahomes opted for, that was basically a shovel pass play, but he didn't shovel it to him. But that was one of those, like, you use dressing, you shovel it, and that's where Kelce went. But yeah, that game was crazy. I think Charles Omenihu, his return, huge for the team. They rushed 4 a lot. They rushed 4 a lot and got home a lot. Which was great to see because obviously the less guys you send towards the quarterback, the more you have in coverage. So Omenihu, great. He had a sack, multiple pressures. The pass batted up in the air at like the Chargers were at like the 9. The Chargers were at like the 9-7 yard line, somewhere around there, and Omenihu batted it up into the awaiting arms of L'Jarius Sneed. That was awesome. I think the biggest loss clearly of that game was Nick Bolton dislocating his wrist. He did have successful surgery today, per the words of Andy Reid. They had no metal or additional pins or anything that was needed, which I guess is a positive, according to the words of Andy Reid. I'm not a doctor, but he said that was a positive, maybe meaning it's less recovery time. I don't really know, but he got that done in LA. He'll be back with the team tomorrow. Justin Watson, I guess I'm kind of moving us on, but like the game was great. I think. Before I move on to Justin Watson and practicing, I think it was fine. Rashee Rice, this is crazy to think. If he hits close to 800 yards this year, Juju Smith-Schuster had 950. He's not that far off from Juju production as a rookie. And Juju signed a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Patriots. Meanwhile, the Chiefs drafted Rashee in round 2 and have him on a rookie contract. So it's just crazy. Like Rashee is continuing to just... He's learning quick. He's getting the playbook down, all the intricacies. And then Patrick Mahomes spoke about Rashee Rice today in his presser, just saying he's getting just even better every week about reading coverages, and not just like Travis Kelce, because nobody does it like Travis Kelce, but he's good at finding weak spots and getting open. And like that touchdown pass Rashee Rice caught last week, that was not exactly where he was supposed to go. He just found a weakness in the zone and sat there. And Mahomes said he was about to check it down. He said, I was about to check it down on the left side to the check down option, and I saw Rashee I saw red in the back of the end zone just waiting. And so he just lofted it up. It was a perfect pass from Mahomes, by the way.
It was.
Yeah, super happy for Rashee. And then I'm super happy to have Omenihu back. You know, he just came back from a suspension. And I guess before we talk about Justin Watson and his return, we could talk about this briefly. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I already did a full video on it yesterday. I talked about it last night. But Omenihu just came back from his suspension. We have another wide receiver going through a little bit of trouble himself. He will more than likely face a suspension, is my best guess. It probably won't be this season. I will just see how far or how fast the league reacts. But typically the legal process plays out. Then the NFL does their own independent investigation. And even if, Justin Ross is found not guilty or whatever in the court of law, the NFL could still suspend him for violating the, the league's personnel policy. I don't remember. I'm spacing on what exactly. The NFL player conduct
Yes.
What the league can do their own independent investigation, and then they
Code
can
of
suspend
conduct?
a player. Nah, it's the NFL. I don't freaking know. Somebody's saying it in the chat. I guarantee it. I'm spacing it.
They know it.
But he got arrested. Andy Reid spoke today, said, look, we're gathering the info, the facts. He's here. He practiced. So Justin Ross did practice. He pled not guilty to two misdemeanor counts, and then was at practice the next day. Feel free to share any thoughts. I've shared my own. It's a heavy situation. It sucks. Right now it's a little bit of a he said, she said situation. That's how a lot of these things go. But the NFL doesn't play around with cases that have two letters attached, DV, and sometimes they put the hammer down. So Andy Reid basically said, hey, we're continuing to gather the facts. We're talking with law enforcement, me, Veach, a couple others, and then Justin Ross. We're going to gather everything that we can, and then we'll make a decision from there. I don't know that they move on from Justin Ross. I don't think so. I would think they let the legal process play out, but that's kind of where we are. Super sensitive subject, but if you have any thoughts, feel free to weigh in.
It's an unfortunate incident. Anytime anything similar to that happens or anything like that happens, it's really unfortunate. You never want anyone to have to go through that or deal with that or be in that situation. Like you said, there's still a lot of facts coming out, a lot of information coming out.
Yeah.
So he's going to continue to be on the team until he's not, and until they can figure out what else is going on. Until I know more, I don't really have a lot more to say about it. But I think it's what's interesting about that too is that we also found out that he may not be progressing as much as we, as the audience, would like to think as a wide receiver. So that there were some other struggles that he had been running into with, figuring out the routes and kind of figuring out where his placement needs to be in practices. So I just thought it was interesting that kind of came out at the same day. I was like, well, that's weird. Why haven't we heard anything about these struggles before? And now, I don't know.
You're talking about Albert Breer's stuff?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
What he had said.
I saw that. I don't even know that I needed that. I don't know that I needed Breer to say that to be like, I don't think that was groundbreaking info, only because he's been playing. They've been playing Justin Ross very little right now. I think they're just slowly easing him in and ramping him up. He's had 6 targets, 3 catches for 20 something yards. So it's not like, well, obviously if the coaching staff was higher on him, he'd be getting more snaps. And I still think more could come. I don't know where Breer gets, I don't know if he has a source there or what. But I'm just going to defer to the Chiefs and their coaching staff. And maybe he really is struggling, and that's why Brett. It's not. But my thing is, it's not really a surprise because Brett Veach literally said in his presser right before the season, Justin Ross, and I think he said Rashee Rice, which Rashee Rice has definitely gone way more than that now. But he said Justin Ross and Rashee Rice will be used in limited packages to start the season, and if they handle the workload given based on their limited packages, they will be given more opportunities. Obviously, Rashee Rice is totally taking advantage of all of them. He's dude. Rashee, his ability to get upfield after catching the ball, move vertically. I'm like, dude, you are freaking fast, you little serpent. He's like slithering through players like super fast, crazy. We'll see about Justin Ross and his. He played more snaps against the Chargers. He still was only targeted that one time. A little bit of a weak OPI call, I felt like, on him. He used his elbows, but he wasn't fully extending his arms. I thought that was a little bit of a weak OPI call, but it doesn't matter because I think the next play or 2 plays later, it was a DPI on Travis Kelce, and it moved the Chiefs back up to the 1. So what the frick ever. But we'll see about Ross. I like your stance on we don't know everything right now, so just kind of let it play out and see where it goes from there. I think that's the best stance to have rather than going witch hunting one way or another, right now as the situation plays out. And, if what comes to light is he did what was alleged, that's not good at all. And he's going to have to pay some repercussions, but we'll see. Got to let the legal process play out for sure.
Yeah. I really want to add to what you were
Go
saying
ahead.
about Rashee Rice and his yards after the catch, and just how
Yeah.
physical he is, and how, like you said, he's slithery, but he's also just such a physical receiver. Like he was like
Yeah.
knocking people out of the way. I was just like, oh my, yes, like this is so exciting because not only did you see his progress, like have we seen his progress throughout the season, but now I feel like he's gotten more confident in his body as well and what he's able to do. So I just wanted to add on to that real quick, but anyway.
No, I've been super happy with Rashee. Super happy with Rashee. And last thing I'll just say, because we kind of been going back and forth, I'll just be keeping Justin Ross and that situation in prayer. I mean, he's young, dude, 23. That's a super tough situation. Couldn't imagine going through it, but yeah, here we are. It's a heavy situation I did not want to report on, but you got to take the good with the bad when you cover a team, and I'm an independent guy, so I don't have the Chiefs saying you can't talk about the negative stuff, so I'll just talk about it. But I couldn't believe it when I initially saw the articles. I was like, is this fake? Like, what the frick? But here we are.
Yeah. And for a guy, and again, we don't know everything, but for a guy who's worked so hard, like you hate to see something like
bummer.
this. Yeah, he's worked really hard to get back to a good place with his health and then to get on a team and then for this to kind of be going on, it's unfortunate. So.
Well, I don't even know how to transition out of that segment, so we'll just move on because it's heavy. So it's just like, it sucks. It is what it is. Yeah. I'm going to let the legal process play out at this point. Any updates that come out, I'll definitely let you guys know, chat. There's like 500 people in here. What up? And then, if the NFL or the Chiefs decide to act before the legal process plays out or anything like that, we'll keep you updated, man. It's just unfortunate. But let's move on. You mentioned the trade deadline's coming up. I think the trade deadline is Tuesday. Is there any position you think the Chiefs could potentially trade for? Not necessarily a player, unless you have a specific player in mind. Is there any position? Because they don't have money right now. They don't have a lot of money, especially after trading for Hardman. They take on a $1.4 million cap hit from him, and they only had like $4 million when they got him. So they've got $3-ish million, somewhere around there. It's not a lot, but could pull a couple emergency levers, I guess. But hey, you think the Chiefs are going to make a move before the deadline?
I think if they do, I could see them maybe going after another wide receiver. Who, I'm not sure. I mean, I know there's been a lot of talk about Hollywood Brown. There's been talk about, Treylon Burks. He's on the trade conversation for the Titans. I think even DeAndre Hopkins is out there. We can't afford DeAndre Hopkins, like you were saying. And I think it's going to be interesting because you don't want, being that it's halfway through the season and we know that Andy's offense is already difficult to kind of get into. It's not going to be so plug and play as we would like it to be. So I think they have to take those things into consideration, and you're going to want a guy who's more of a vet or has more experience, I think. But then I don't know. It's tough. I don't know all the contracts of everybody. I don't know what Hollywood Brown's contract looks like. I know he's a free agent in 24, but I don't know what we would pick up if we were to take on him. But that would probably be the one guy just because he's I think he's like 26. So he's obviously been in the league for a second, but he's also not super fresh and he's not someone who's aging, but you can also pick up his contract if you want, or extend him and re-sign him in free agency if you wanted to in 24. So that's all I'll really say on that. I think a wide receiver would make the most sense just because, no offense to Hardman or Tony, but there have been injury concerns with them in the past. And so between that, you've got Justin Watson, who, yes, we saw that he was back at practice today, but up until today, we didn't know if he was going to be healthy or when he would be back. And then, of course, you've got this whole thing going on with Justin Ross, who, even though he hasn't been super productive, he is still another guy. So you just think if any of those four guys go down, you're left with Sky, Rashee, that's not really the depth you want going into the back half of the season and then, of course, into the playoffs. So I could see them taking a wide receiver. But outside of that, I mean, I think our defense is stacked even with the injury to Bolton. I think we've got some good depth there. And I don't know what they would do with running back. I think we've got some guys on the practice squad. I don't know if they want to trade away Clyde. Yeah, P. Ryan. I'm a big fan of P. Ryan. Or if they're, what do you think? Is there a position for you or a guy for you?
I mean, there's a few that have been brought up. I know the Broncos are having a fire sale. Somebody just mentioned Jerry Jeudy. one intriguing name to me, and I don't think it's likely, but I even liked him during free agency, is Adam Thielen. He is not young. He's like 32. But, dude, that guy is having a phenomenal season. He's playing really well. Now, are the Panthers going to give him up? I have no idea. But he's super intriguing to me. I don't think it's super likely, but his contract's not stupid expensive either. But, yeah, there's some, like the Broncos, the Cardinals. Just you got to look at teams that are playing so poorly right now and then look at their roster and be like, well, who would they be willing to get rid of? And even like, think about it. Brett Veach has been on the phone. Did you expect the Chiefs to trade for a receiver before the deadline last year? Because he traded for Tony.
No, that was a big shock to me.
Yeah, I think they'll keep exploring options. Somebody in chat just said maybe a linebacker. I mean, yeah, if they're not happy with their depth outside of, because Nick Bolton's hurt, they got Tranquil. They have Willie Gay. They have Leo Chanel. I think Cam Jones maybe is still on the team.
Jack Cochran.
And Jack Cochran. He's either on the team or on the practice squad. They have some depth there. But yeah, if they're not happy, meaning like, oh man, if Tranquil went down, we would be really stressed about putting. But I don't know. The problem with that is just like going and trading for somebody and thinking they're just going to instantly start producing. They're just not. Leo or Jack Cochran, like those guys would probably be better off, depending, because they've been here. They've been here and they've been around. So I don't know. I'll be intrigued to see what they do. I don't know. There's not a lot of money there. I know some people are saying, dude, go get D-Hop or go get this or go get that. I mean, if they do it and they figure out a way, awesome. I'm not gonna hold my breath, I guess, about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think with the linebacker thing is, we hear Spags' defense is so complex. Can we really get a linebacker in that can can, like you said, be an impact right away and
that's what's so crazy about Drew Tranquil. He came in like he just freaking like he stepped up so quick. They were giving him. I mean, he stepped in for Nick Bolton early in the season for 3 games, and he's about to do it again for another 6, maybe even more. Yeah. And as long as he stays healthy, which. Please stay healthy. It's a tough defense to learn, and Drew Tranquil's been killing it. So he might be the most underrated free agency signing. Him, Mike Edwards was a good one. He's been playing well, and then of course a Minihue. Yeah, a lot of great signings there. You mentioned it, but we could talk about it. Justin Watson. He was a full participant today at practice, out there looking like RoboCop. Got this huge brace on his elbow. But him being a full participant, I mean, Charles Goldman of A to Z Sports kind of said it. It looks like he's trending up towards playing week 8 after being injured week 6. This is something that I thought he was going to be out multiple weeks. But Andy Reid obviously said, hey, we're not going to put him on IR. So I was like, okay, well, it's less than 4. But how many weeks less? So that's intriguing. In the wide receiver room. I also wonder about Richie James. He's on IR with an MCL injury. He's on IR with an MCL injury, but Andy Reid said he should be back before season's end. If they bring him back, what the heck are they going to do in that room? I don't know who's going where. I mean, the easy answer is if they move on from Ross, then okay, step right in. But obviously we don't know what's going to happen with his situation. I would think they stick by him and let the legal process play out, but I just don't know. So that's a question mark for me there. And then, I mean, Justin Watson, he's back or going to be back soon. So there was only 2 others on the injury report. I'm going off the top. No, I'm not going off the top of my head. It's right here. I could actually share my screen too.
Show it.
It's funny. I said I was going to go off the top of my head, and it happened to be literally right where my Twitter was. So here we are. Boom. Nick Bolton obviously didn't participate. He could more than likely be going on IR. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Andy Reid said Veach is figuring all that out. I would assume they put Bolton on IR soon. I don't know why. If he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, why you wouldn't do that. Then you had the other 3 on the injury report. This is it. Mike Edwards, elbow. Jerick McKinnon, groin. And then Justin Watson, elbow. All fully participated today. It was a lighter practice from what I understand. Super short injury report. Maybe it wasn't a lighter practice. I thought I saw it was a walkthrough, but I could be wrong. So, yeah.
I think the Nick Bolton thing is interesting because I kept waiting for them to put him on IR, and he hasn't been put on IR yet. I don't know. Maybe I know it's a lengthy process. I think there's a lot of paperwork and things to figure out, but I definitely would have thought we would have heard something more on that by now. But to
Well, he
your
just had
point,
surgery today,
yeah.
so we should
And they,
hear
like you
this
said,
week maybe.
yeah, and he didn't have the. You said he didn't have to have any metal stents or anything put in, so it might be quicker recovery than we originally thought, which would be awesome. But in the meantime, like you were talking with Drew Tranquil, he is absolutely more than capable of stepping up and covering for Nick Bolton. He did it earlier in the season. They've had nothing but great things to say about him and the way that he's been able to lead the defense. He's showing guys where they need to be. I have a lot of confidence. It sucks to lose Nick Bolton. You know, you could see on the guys' faces whenever he went down, they were physically, emotionally a little upset by the situation. So he obviously is an impact to the team. He's an impact to those guys in that locker room. So I think Drew Tranquil is going to step up nice, but we hope for a speedy recovery for Nick Bolton. He's had a great season too so far. So
Yeah, hate to see it. Dealt with the ankle injury for 3 weeks and then was back for a couple, and then now he's dealing with this. Did we already? We didn't really talk about this, I don't think. Frank Clark news. I almost got confused for a second because I just dropped a video on it before we went live, and I'm like, did we talk about it? I feel like we did, but I think I just researched it for like an hour and then made a video on it. Frank Clark is reportedly to sign with the Seahawks if he passes his physical, which I don't know why he wouldn't. I haven't seen any tweet from an insider that actually said he did officially sign, but basically if he passes his physical, he is to sign. And, I have a couple thoughts about that. Just first off, I think the Seahawks needed him more. And what's his name? They just had a pass rusher tear his pec. Nwosu? Yeah, I can't remember his first name right now. But he just tore his pec, and he needs season-ending pectoral surgery to repair it. So they needed a pass rusher as it was. And then because of that, I think the need was just greater with the Seahawks. I think they probably even offered him a little bit more money because of the need there. And the Chiefs, meanwhile, the report last week was he's going to have a physical at the Chiefs facility. Well, I have this feeling that it never got there because after continued talks, multiple beat reporters said this. They said, I don't know where Frank Clark would go on the 53-man roster. I think he would go to the practice squad. And I'm over here like, well, it would be Malik Herring or Matt Dickerson would go. And then Frank Clark would jump in. But, I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Brett Veach and company must be pretty high on the room there, trusting Joe Cullen's opinion as well. I think they may have honestly said, look, man, we love you. Would love to have you. But if you wanted to come here, you'd have to be on the practice squad for a bit while we figure things out. And then if injuries happen. And I think that's, I don't know. I don't think Frank would ever go for that, So he, by going to Seattle, he's going to be on the 53 and he's going to get playing time, possibly even more than he would get if he was on the Chiefs 53-man roster, because they're in a pretty good place, I think, at defensive end. If you want some depth, maybe go for DT, defensive tackle. But they did sign Mike Pennell, and we could talk about that. But thoughts on Frank Clark before we move on from that?
I love Frank Clark. I was honestly hoping that he would come back and be a Chief, but it would strictly be for, like you said, we don't need defensive end depth. And he would have been a practice squad guy. And if they had that conversation before out of respect for him, I think that's awesome. I thought it was weird that there was all this hype and smoke about him coming over to do a physical and then it kind of fizzled out. But I think out of respect too, he did so much for this organization, so much for this team, so much alongside Chris Jones and those other guys that maybe they thought out of respect that he is worthy of more than the practice squad. And we don't even want to put you in that situation. And we feel like you deserve to go somewhere else. And I'm happy that he's going to the Seahawks, a place that he's been before. He feels a little bit like he's returning home in a sense there. So he knows the organization. He knows that team. I'm happy for him. Yeah. I want him to land somewhere. He deserves to be playing on a team, like you said. And hopefully he can get something going there and then get a contract next year as well. And he can keep playing because he's a great guy. They asked Chris Jones about it in the presser today. And, he said he spoke with Frank last night about the situation and that they were talking about it. He's like, we just got to do what's best for each other, and he's got to do what's best for him, and I got to do what's best for me, and we're brothers though. So I thought that was cool. I love that they just kind of attacked it with Chris Jones, because we all know how Chris Jones feels about it. So it was good to hear him speak.
I think the news broke during his presser.
Do you think? Because he said he talked to him last night, and he was, I wondered about that.
Well, I think the news actually broke on Twitter during Chris's presser, and that's why they asked him about it. Because the beat reporters wouldn't have known prior, and they didn't ask anybody else about it. It probably wouldn't have made sense maybe to ask Mahomes, but they could have asked Andy, right? So I think it broke right around when Chris was up, somewhere around there. But yeah, I think him and Frank talk all the time, and so he knew in advance. In advance. So we wish Frank the best. It's all good.
We do. It's
just a little weird
down
how...
the road.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, if down the road he ends up back here for just a short stint or whatever, he's always going to be Frank Clark the Shark here in Chiefs Kingdom. And he's got 2 Super Bowls with us. He did amazing things with us. So wish him nothing but the best. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was just a weird situation that he's reportedly coming in for a physical and just literally never did. That's where I'm thinking, well, they must have had more of a serious conversation before that even took place. And that's when they were like, yeah, it's probably not going to work. So, we'll never know fully, but he was coming into town. So there was interest. I don't know to what extent, but with that being said, he's now back with the team that drafted him, and it's all good. Good. I think that's most of the Chiefs news that has happened this week. I guess we could real quick talk about, they signed defensive tackle Mike Pennell, I believe. That's the name, right? I'm like spacing it now. But yeah, he's been around for a long time, but he was with the Chiefs in 19 and 20, playing in both of the Super Bowls, the one that we won, and then the one that I have forced out of my memory forevermore. Against the Bucs. So I think the thought there, they release 6th-round pick defensive tackle Keandre Coburn, hoping he would clear waivers. He did not. He got claimed by the Denver Broncos. And so he's a Bronco now. And so they needed some defensive tackle depth. So that's why they went and got him, in my opinion. Could be wrong. Maybe they would have added him anyway if Keandre cleared waivers. So it's a bit speculative, I guess, on my part. But I think they were hoping Coburn cleared waivers. He did not. So then you're like, well, let's see who's available and, let's add some depth there. So I think that's what Pennell is doing there right now. I mean, we could see some elevations eventually. It's a little intriguing unless Danny Shelton was just done, because he's not on the practice squad anymore, is he?
No.
Did he sign elsewhere? Like, I don't even know where he is now.
He got picked up by, I want to say the Saints. That's not right.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Someone in the chat probably knows.
Even on NFL.com, he's still in a Chiefs uniform, like when you look up his name. So I'm not sure. Either way, Pennell is here. They waived wide receiver Arias, I believe, the former Cardinal. He was with the Cardinals at least this offseason, played in some preseason games. So, but there we are. That's kind of all the moves that have happened. We talked trade deadline. We talked Justin Ross. We talked Frank Clark. We talked injury report. It's 8:40. Definitely want to talk, before we answer some super chats, talk a little bit of your thoughts on Chiefs Broncos coming up this Sunday, 3:30.
It feels like deja vu. Like, this is such a quick turnaround.
I know.
We just played them. It's really wild that we're playing them again so soon. But yeah, I mean, I think, and again, not to go back to the presser with Chris Jones, but they asked him about what's hard about playing a team so close. And he said, they know us. They know our weaknesses. They just played us. They know what worked. They know what didn't work. And of course, this is a team that's hungry to win because we've beat them 16 straight times, which is laughable. But also, it's embarrassing for them. So this is a team, even though they might seem out of it this season, this is still something that they're going to want to go after and get that win. So it's going to be a tough matchup. I mean, Wilson's still playing better than he played last year. I think the defense for them is going to be, we saw what our offense can do to them. I know we struggled last game, but we know that this offense can put up numbers. I think that they continue to work off of what they kind of established last week with the Chargers, that we can see some really good things. And I think this is just going to be another test for them to prove that they can get over that hump that they kind of had with them when we played them last time. And also, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like all that Jerry Jeudy stuff, like I don't think the Broncos are going to want to trade him to the Chiefs. I know that was kind of like a couple conversations ago, but they're not going to trade him to a team that's, in my opinion, a dynasty in the works, if you will. And they're not going to be like, we're not going to make this team better. This team's beat us 16 times. I've heard a lot of negative things about, fans think that we're not a very fun organization and all this stuff with Taylor Swift, but I think you're just mad that we beat you 16 times. I think that's really what it is. So I don't know. I think overall it's going to be, I expect us to put up more points than we did last time. I expect the defense to deliver just like they did last time, but I do expect our offense to get things humming a little bit sooner than we did. So I don't really have much else to add. Like we said, we just played them. So
yeah. Well, the final score last time I think was what, 19? Was it 19-9?
It was low. Yeah, it was really low.
No, it was 19-8 because of a safety. What was it was an 11-point game. Either way, I was just going to say the Chiefs are 1-5 in the red zone, so they just need to be able to clean that up. I will say this, that was different from last time. If we look here, Kareem Jackson, safety Kareem Jackson, was suspended for 4 games this week, or late last week, one of those, and it got reduced to 2. Even with 2 games, he's not going to be playing. Safety Kareem Jackson. And then on top of that, I saw this. Safety Justin Simmons, who has picked Mahomes off multiple times in their matchups. I think he was the guy with the INT last game, Justin Simmons. He popped up on the injury report this week with a hip injury and was limited. So we need to watch this here. We need to watch to see how Justin Simmons is going to be, because, again, safety Kareem Jackson suspended. And if Justin Simmons isn't good to go, I mean, that's a big hit to the Broncos secondary. So just something worth watching compared to last game. I think both of them played, if I remember right. So yeah, that's intriguing. But dude, the Chiefs totally dominated the first matchup, and if they were better than 1-5 in the red zone, it's not even a discussion. It was a complete blowout if they converted in the red zone. So Patrick Mahomes did say they had some good play calls, talking about the Broncos defense. They had some good play calls in the red zone that got him a couple times. They ran a couple man beaters, and Broncos played zone. And it threw him off, specifically on one play where, remember, Mahomes spun around in a circle and then tried to sidearm sling it to Sky in the front corner of the end zone. That was a play they were expecting man, and the Broncos dropped back into zone. So they ran a man beater play. Sky, I think, was the intended receiver, and it was like a pick for Sky, like for him to be able to potentially score there. But when they just stepped back in zone. Nobody fell for it. And so yeah, that was one of the examples of just the Broncos called a good play or the Chiefs called a bad play. They just need to clean it up in the red zone. I think it'll be fine. Now, with that being said, the Broncos are coming off a win as well, and they're pissed. They want the streak to end. They don't want to lose to the Chiefs 17 times in a row. If Mahomes wins against them on Sunday, Mahomes is 13-0 against the Broncos. I don't think that's what they want. So I expect a hard-fought game, but even with that being said, I think the Chiefs offense has some momentum going into this game as well. They put up 31 against the Chargers, and honestly, if it wasn't for a penalty, they would have had at least 34, because if you remember in the first quarter of that game, Jerick McKinnon had a 50-yard screen pass for a touchdown against the Chargers. It got called back due to a block in the back call on Joe Tooney, I believe. And they actually ended up driving down the field and settling for 3, but that was a touchdown, so that could have been at least 34 points. So the offense is there. They are now best in the league again on third downs, believe it or not. Number 1 in the league. They are top 3, top 5 in most statistical categories. Again, Patrick Mahomes is once again the MVP favorite right now. He's the front runner for MVP, which is crazy. He's on pace for like 4,900 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 14 INTs. Not like the craziest stats from a Patrick Mahomes standpoint, but he's still the MVP front runner according to most major betting sites. And yeah, it's a good place. Good place to be in. The Chiefs are 6-1. The Broncos are 2-5. And if the Chiefs win this Sunday, I mean, it's basically a lock for the West. I don't know that you can pencil it in, or I think you have to pencil in the lock. It's not an ink or in permanent marker or tattooed. But yeah, with this win, the Chiefs will basically seal the West for the 8th year in a row. Now, you can't somebody said, is this a definition of a trap game? Somebody said that earlier in chat. I don't think division games can be a trap game, in my opinion. I think they're all hard. All division games are hard. Twice last year, Broncos, 1-score game. Twice last year, Chargers, 1-score game. 1 of 2 last year against the Raiders, 1-score game. Obviously, neither this year so far of the AFC West opponents have been 1-score games as we go into our third. But you can't take them lightly, and you can't make mistakes. Got to play a clean game all 4 quarters.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see, in the past, Mahomes has really struggled with turnovers against the Broncos. So I would like to see that get cleaned up a little bit. Going back to this trap game thing, whenever the schedule came out, I will admit I actually had this as one of the L's, just because it is 3 divisional games back to back, and that's tough. I mean, each of those games, like you said, they play you tough, they play you tight. And because we play the Dolphins following this, it would be easy to maybe start looking at Germany, where not only are we playing the Dolphins, but we're traveling to Germany to play the Dolphins after already playing the Broncos not even 2 weeks ago. So I could see the idea of a trap game, but they look dialed in. They know what this means. They've seen this team. Andy knows, he says they got a good team, they got a good coach, and he always speaks highly of them. Which I know that that's just part of Andy's charm, but I think the guys are dialed in. I think they understand that their offense wasn't doing what they thought it should do last game, and that's what they're trying to prove, that they can be better against the Broncos and they can clean up those turnovers. So that's all I had to add.
Do you have a score prediction with that being said? I'm not going to lie, I haven't even thought about it.
Cole, I am done trying to predict scores. I am it is. I'm so bad at it. Yeah, I'll put one out there though, because why not? It's fun. I think last time I was like, we're gonna win 33-20 or something like that. I do think we're gonna score more than 19. What did we score last time? 18, 19.
I thought it was 19-8. Chiefs, Broncos, box score. All the scores blend into me. Yeah, it was 19-8 because of that. I think it was a Jawan Taylor safety in that game, wasn't it?
Yes. I do think, okay, it's supposed to snow.
No. Never mind. Sorry. It was not Jawan Taylor safety. I think they scored a touchdown and the 2 points.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what they did. The last drive, that crazy touchdown to Sutton. And then the 2 points.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
The safety was in a different game.
Because then it was like a 1-score game. And we were like, wait, why is this like this? And then we came back and I think we got a field goal and put it out of reach. Anyway, it is supposed to snow. I think it's going to be one of the coldest games that they've had this season. I think it's going to be like 32 or 3 degrees up there with some snow. We know Mahomes likes snow games. But I do think that that's something to keep in mind when you think about the score. We're probably going to be running it a little bit more. I'm going to go. I hate guessing now. I'm such a fool for this. I'm going to say 30-17. So close to what we just did to the Chargers.
30-17 Chiefs.
Final answer. Lock it in.
Yeah, so in Denver, I'll just share the screen. In Denver on Sunday, it's supposed to be 31 during the day with a low of 14. So it's going to be cold. Snow showers early. Winds light and variable. Chance of snow 50%. So it's going to be cold. It's going to be chipper. It's going to be chilly. I think the Chiefs are going to win. The Broncos put up 8 last time. I might give them 13. Maybe they can get a touchdown and a couple field goals. Maybe 16, but I'm going to go with 13 for the Broncos. I'll go 27 for the Chiefs. And they walk away 17 wins in a row and basically solidify the West. Now, it's not going to be an easy fight. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was closer than that. Just no part of me wants it to be closer than that, so I'm going to go 27-13 Kansas City. But you know what? If it's a one-score game down to the wire, I'm not going to be surprised in the least. Smoke and Tree said, take the under. Take the under. There's
Really? I would like to see the run game do a little bit more. I feel like, Pacheco did score a touchdown last game against the Chargers, but I think the last couple of games they've struggled a little bit more with the run. So knowing that it might be some snow, there might be a little bit of weather factor in. I would like to see some improvement with the run game. I could see them sticking to the run a little bit more. So we'll see. Yeah, take the under for sure because I don't know.
I think maybe the Chiefs are they 7-point favorites right now? I think that's what it is. 7-point, I believe. But with that being said, there's some score predictions in chat. 21-24 Chiefs. John said 34-10 Chiefs. Gary 34 Chiefs. Donkeys 16. 31-14 Chiefs. 38-17 Chiefs said Ray. 38-14 Chiefs said Joe.
Ooh,
we got a lot of people predicting, obviously, the Chiefs to win. There's mainly Chiefs fans in here, so it makes sense. But we will definitely see 30-10, said Warren. 31-17, American 10-20. American 10-20 also, I guess we could move right into here. American 10-20 with the 20 bomb said, what's up, fam? Sup, Kylie? AFC Championship goes through Arrowhead. Let's freaking go. Thanks so much for the 20 bomb, brother. You already know. The Chiefs are shaping up. There's a lot of season left. Got to stay healthy. Got to play clean games and get these dubs. But the Chiefs really have a chance to potentially host the 6th AFC Championship game in a row at home, which is an unbelievable. It's too early to really speak confidently about that. But just right now, the way it's trending, it's looking good. You got to keep that going, though. Definitely got to keep that going. Chiefs fan,
we got to stay healthy.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's the key.
What do we got? You have a giveaway?
No. But Chiefs fan with the 2 said, did the giveaway happen yet? I'm late. No, we're not doing a giveaway tonight. We will do another one soon, though. We got merch to give away. We'll do another one soon for sure. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about a thing. We got you. But thanks for the 2 bomb. Jack with the 5 said, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm pretty happy with the way our team is right now. Top defense and a top offense. What more can you really ask for? Well, a top special teams unit. And guess what? They are that as well. Top 5 in all 3 of these bad boys. So, do you see that tweet yesterday? They were talking about the Chiefs and how they're doing on all 3 phases of the ball.
Yeah, and I think this is probably the most well-rounded, most complete team that Mahomes has played with, which is really scary for the for the rest of the league. And I would say, it's probably too early to talk about, like you said, being crowned AFC. Yeah, hosting the AFC division, you know what I mean? And AFC coming through here. What is it? The Arrowhead Invitational. It's definitely a little too early about that. But I would say when looking at the rest of the AFC West, the rest of this division has some things to work out before they get to where we are, in my opinion. I know I'm a biased Chiefs fan, but it feels like there's some coaching changes that need to be made across the division outside of the Chiefs, obviously. There's some quarterback question marks across the division. There's lack of draft picks in certain places across the division. So I'm at least feeling really good about the AFC West over the next season and even maybe seasons to come. But
the Raiders are struggling. The Chargers are. I feel like the Chargers are right there, but they keep losing games. Then obviously the Broncos are not doing well at all. Race fan, bro, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted. Cobra Kai with the 12 months also said, Kylie, did Cole hook you up on the HBTC coffee yet? Stuff is amazing. I get it monthly. Also can't wait to see Charles Omenihu and what he does against Russell Wilson. Sack Nation 2.0. How about those, Chiefs? Let's freaking go. I don't think you've had a coffee yet, have you?
First of all, I don't have a coffee yet, so please, I got to get that. I got to get on that.
I can give you some.
Yeah. Hook me up with this coffee, and then I'll be super wired the next time we're on. I'll be like, But that Omenihu, that's a huge factor. He was not in the game the last time we played the Broncos. I don't even know how we skipped over that.
We talked about his return we talked about his return against the Chargers, and I feel like that just spells good things just from here on out. I'm super excited about that for sure.
Totally does. So that'll be fun to watch him because when you get Omenihu and Karlaftis and Dana and Jones up there together,
oh yeah, oof,
getting pressure with 4, like you said, opens or helps out the secondary a lot. Yeah, that's fun. I just got like super excited. I don't know why I forgot that he wasn't.
Yeah, I'm stoked about that.
There
I
for
think
the first Broncos game. He was not.
how many times did the Chiefs sack Russell Wilson last game? Do you remember?
3. We just had our single season high of 5 last game. I think we did 3 times the game before. Look it up. Where we at?
I know. I'm trying to find it quickly.
I think 3.
And that might be right. I think they sacked Herbert 5. Somebody in chat might know. The first super chat of the stream, though, I missed it earlier. Arkansas, what's up, man? Appreciate you with the 2. Said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sad are you on the Ross arrest? I mean, I'm sad, dude. I don't know if I could put a number on it. 7, 8, 9. I mean, just you see a guy with, that got into the league by the skin of his teeth just due to fighting health issues and fighting and battling against the odds, and don't know what's going on there with that situation, but could potentially, it might not completely ruin the NFL career. Like, there's probably a future still, but you could jeopardize your chance at staying with the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, just depending on how it goes. I'm not saying they're moving on from him, but it's stuff you hate to see. He's only 23, man. So young, and it's not like he's a troubled kid. Like, from what I understand, he's never had issues before. This is like a first-time thing, from what I understand. Could be wrong. But yeah, I'm super sad about the ordeal, to be honest. We had a membership. We had somebody with a membership, but there's like no name and they retracted the message. So thank you, I think, but I don't know what happened there. Daniel with the gifted. And then I think we're all caught up. You were going to say something, though. Feel free to weigh in.
Oh, no. I mean, we already kind of touched on it, but no, it's sad. And it's, like you said, a guy who's worked so hard to claw his way back in and to get back from the health issues and then to get onto a team. And this isn't what you want for him. You don't want that for him. You don't want that for the parties involved, whatever comes out from this. So it's sad. That's all. We've touched on it already.
Sacked. Yeah, for sure. We did. And it is sad. Somebody said 4 sacks on the Broncos. Sacked Wilson 5. Cole, I got it. Astro, let's go, dude. Appreciate you. Yeah, 4 sacks. How many do you think they'll get this time? 5?
Ooh, I'm going to go 5. That feels like a good number. That's what they had last game against the Chargers. But I feel like with a mini bag, it's only helping Karlaftis. We saw that last game. I expect them to really start racking up the sacks and making a bigger impact up front. So I just want to see Russell Wilson get sacked at least 3 times. And then go over to the sideline and say, let's ride, and pretend like nothing happened.
He's done. He's done with the let's ride. They changed their motto to they changed their motto this year?
I did, because I still think
they did it quietly. No, it's not. I mean, I'm
saying, like, in my head, I'm still going to say it's let's ride because it was just
facts.
so comical.
They changed it to uncommon.
Oh, yeah. So still bad.
Yeah, they changed it to what W's are in that entire franchise's recent history. W's are uncommon for Denver Broncos. So
yes, exactly. It's uncommon for us to be so bad after talking so much smack in the offseason. So many ways we could go with uncommon.
Yo, Brandon Perna's in here. He said it is let's ride. I thought it was uncommon, but I like let's ride better. My favorite let's ride video is this one. Oh, where'd it go? Why ain't it working? Ah, frick. It's not that cool.
Is it the one of him stretching?
It was the Keenan. Nah, it was the Keenan Allen video of him saying "Let's ride." It's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't pull it. I tried to quick fire it and it backfired. What's up, Brandon Perna in the house? Let's ride forever. Let's ride forever, man. Dude, shout out Brandon Perna. Everybody in here probably knows who that is, but he's a Broncos fan but covers NFL wide news, and he's funny as hell. So give him a sub and watch his stuff if you haven't already. He's so funny, dude. He won't admit it, but I definitely watch his videos. Have you seen his videos, Kylie?
No. I need to get
Okay,
it.
yeah.
I don't want
You'll
him
have
to
to
be
check it
upset.
out.
Don't be offended. I'll check it out.
500,000 subs. He's rolling deep. Rolling deep over there. But yeah, he's a good dude. Has helped me out since the beginning of my YouTube journey. Had me on him and Tom Grossi's show when I had like 15,000 subs and pointed a bunch of Chiefs fans my way. But yeah, he's the big YouTuber holding it down for the Broncos. He's a true fan because he's still a Broncos fan after all these last 5 years.
Respect, man. Respect to that. You've earned my respect just because of that. I'll have to go watch your videos now.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Okay, so everybody keeps saying we need to show you, before we get out of here, the Justin Tucker video. Okay, so here's a question. Can you hear audio if I share videos on here? Can you hear the audio? Okay. I was like, if you can't, it's going to be completely pointless. But here's the video.
Well, we'll see what happens.
And let's see if you can hear it. I hope so.
Tucker banging this. There's still
Okay, could you hear that?
Yeah.
those ghosts of
You hear the audio right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Here we go. I'm going to run it. Listen to this.
There's still some of those ghosts of Justin Tucker banging a 60-year-old 60-yard field goal over off the crossbar and through.
You guys, that is so embarrassing for him. I will say, sometimes you get tripped up on words, but that's like, obviously his mind was somewhere else.
How do you say banging a 60-year-old? How does that slip?
His mind was somewhere else. Oh my gosh,
how does that
so
slip?
Funny.
That's hilarious. All right, one more time. Because watch Garofolo. Watch Mike put his hand on his head and he can't hold it. Here we go.
There's still some of those ghosts of Justin Tucker banging a 60-year-old 60-yard field goal over off the crossbar and through to be.
And then he keeps going. That's the best part because you have to just like shake it off and pretend it didn't happen and keep going. But I would have absolutely buried my head in the sand and not known what to say. Oh my god!
I want a longer clip of that because I want more context because it just goes the ghost of Justin Tucker banging 60-year-old, and then I want to know if Garofolo said any, like, it shows him going like this and then they cut it, but I'm like, I want the longer clip now. Anyway, that's hilarious. We played it like 15 times on the stream on Tuesday. Tuesday night. Was it just last night or was it a week ago? I think it's a week ago, to be honest. Maybe it was Friday. But dude, it was so funny.
Hilarious.
I couldn't stop laughing. It's one of the best bloopers I've ever seen for a slip up, dude.
Listen, it
fantastic.
Happens. It happens.
So this one lady right at the end of my stream last night, I can't remember who it was. She's like, "Hey, be careful, I'm 60." And I was like, "Stay away from Justin Tucker." I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
But I'm
careful. Careful. Anyway, that's what everybody wanted me to show you. It's one of the most hilarious slips I've seen in a while. I mean, geez Louise. How do you recover from that? I don't know, but he kept going like a professional.
I think you just have to own it. Like, do you remember when Dan Orlovsky farted on the air? Were you?
No.
Did you see that? What?
Nope.
I wish you could pull that video up. Maybe in the chat if you've seen it, say something. But he was like reporting, or no, they were. I forget. It was like Monday Night Football or something, and he was talking about it and just like let it rip, and it got really quiet. And then the next day, he just owned it. At some point, we should dive into that video.
I'll have to find that one. We were also one night looking up hilarious ref moments. Like, did you see the clip of the ref that told, I can't even remember who it was, he told the player to be quiet because he was talking to America? You ever hear that ref say that?
No.
Yeah, he's like, "Be quiet, I'm talking to America," which was hilarious. And then the ref from back in the day that said he gave the guy a flag because he was giving him the business.
No, I did see that. I've seen that one.
Some hilarious moments.
Yeah.
Daniel with the 6 months, Chief KT with the 2 months said Tyreek could be out a couple weeks. Yeah, did you see that? Tyreek Hill has a hip injury.
I did see that.
He did not
How
practice today.
unfortunate.
He better freaking play. I mean,
I know.
obviously if he's hurt, okay, I get it. But like, I hope he's not hurt because, dude, this is the rematch. Like, I want to play against the Dolphins, as full health as they can be. Raheem Mostert is limited as well with an ankle injury. 2 of them right now. And then Achan's on IR. Jalen Waddle. I mean, dude, Jalen Waddle, you watch that game? He left the game because of a back injury. He came back in. They probably pumped him full of who knows what. He was feeling good, though. He was on cloud 18 out there catching passes. But, dude, they're a little banged up over there.
Yeah. That's not what you
Waddle,
want. Like,
Hill,
hopefully
Achan, and Mostert.
That's their whole that's their offense. So, I mean, especially, like, obviously health is the most important thing. Let me preface that by saying this. But I also feel like he has just talked so much leading up to that game. Like, he's got to play. We want them to be fully healthy. We don't want there to be any excuses. So I hope he gets better. I hope that he's able to play. Especially, what if he sits next week? That's fine. But if he's got to play when we're in Germany.
I hope so. I'm going to have to be up at 8 a.m. for that game to stream it, by the way. I'm going to have to be streaming at 8 a.m. I'm going to have to be up at 7 just to get ready for football, which is a really weird feeling. Chiefs fan with the 2. I searched you up, and first thing is music. Yeah, you probably found my hip-hop music that I haven't made in 5 years, but there you go. Enjoy it, man. Kylie's never heard me spit no bars, and it ain't starting tonight. American 20 with the 10 bomb said maybe he meant to say Justin Tucker hitting a 60-yarder. Well, that's definitely what he meant to say. But his mind was somewhere else. Yeah, regardless, it's freaking fun. It's freaking funny. I don't know what. He just slipped.
He was ready for 5 o'clock. He was like, it's almost time. The day's almost over. I'm looking to 5 o'clock. I'm looking to after work. Oh, we're not there yet.
Dude,
I'm really happy I got to see that. I would have, I'm so happy you showed me that. That's hilarious.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, American 1020, thanks for the 10 bomb. Kylie, before we get out of here, we always talk about it briefly, but do you know what you're doing for food yet for the game? 3:30 game, you got plans?
Yeah, we're going to do, so I'm going to make this. Okay, so if you live in Kansas City, then you are familiar with Jose Peppers. Are you guys familiar with Jose Peppers? Some of you are familiar, maybe not. They do this espinaca dip, that espinaca queso. It's like a spinach queso. Anyway, it's delicious. So I'm going to recreate that. I found a copycat recipe. So we're doing chips queso. And then I think we're going to take a pork butt and do some pulled pork tacos and get into it. It's supposed to be cold here as well. I think we're looking at 40 that day with some rain. So not ideal, but something I can just enjoy all day and watch football with. So
what are you going to drink?
Oh, man. I feel like I don't really know yet. I normally stick to seltzers, quirks. During the game.
Do you drink more? Do you drink more the more stressful the game is? Are you drinking quicker, or not really?
No. So here's why. Because every time we score a touchdown, we drink a shot.
Oh, freaking A.
Guys, I don't recommend this at home, okay? This, I should just say that now. And I will say that it was a lot more difficult last year when we were putting up the last few seasons when we were putting up big points. It was tough, but this season it's been a little calmer. I haven't been as hungover, which at least we're winning. But so yeah, if we're scoring points, I'm definitely drinking more. But if it's close, I just kind of, just sip and try not to freak out too much. This is my other account on my new phone.
Look at the profile picture. It's me.
Why? It's you. And it's you right now.
I don't know what's going on.
It's you right now.
I couldn't do a shot for every score. Hey, did you see, do you know who Brett Coleman is on Twitter?
Yes, I do, actually.
He does some social for the Chargers, does a bunch of film breakdowns. He's got a podcast. He has a YouTube channel with 350,000. He streams a lot of Thursday night football games, just reactions like me. He said, hey, come watch this game. It was the game the Bears played. He said, I'm going to take a shot every time the Bears score. People were like, well, have fun celebrating your sobriety tonight. Well, that was the game the Bears hung 41 up on whoever they played. I can't even remember who they played. And he was so not feeling well. He was like, the game was over and he was still in his chair. He was like, the room's spinning. So anyway, y'all are crazy for a score. I drink less during games now because I'm calling them. So I just drink like a couple tank 7s. I mean, that's 8.5 percenters, but sip them slowly. Can't be too crazy.
Yeah. Especially I like to watch the evening games. Like I'm not trying to be out of control at 6 p.m. and then I can't enjoy the Sunday night game because we're always the 3:30 game, feels like anyway. So yeah, I try not to get too out of control, but listen, it happens.
Listen. Well, sounds good. I don't know what I'm gonna eat for the game. It doesn't really matter. I'm always nervous before games, so I don't eat a lot. But
yeah.
But there you have it. Cole and Kylie. There you
have it.
Episode 7. Feel free to weigh back in about food or whatever you want before we get out of here. Give us some final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Broncos, I'm excited to wrap up another divisional game because we play them close, so it's always something that kind of looms over our head. But I'm excited. I'm excited for queso. Yeah. I'm going to try to be more reserved with my drinking and just have a couple seltzers and enjoy the ride.
Is that why you rewatch the game?
I rewatch the game because I'm sick in the head, Cole, and I have to watch.
I rewatch it too.
So during the games, I feel like, especially if there's a couple guys, if I have a couple friends over, gals and girls and guys, or whatever, we're hanging out, then I get a little distracted during the game, and I don't get to see every play, and I'm talking to someone and I'm like, oh, I missed it. So we like to go back and rewatch, but yeah, once I get to Tuesday, it's normally Tuesday nights where we watch the game because we've got the Monday night game on Mondays. By Tuesday, I'm luckily my husband feels the same way. He really likes, I'm not just making him rewatch the games. He's like, yeah, let's rewatch it. So no, let's go. We're on the same page about that. But anyway, I could go on.
I rewatch it the next morning because I do my game recaps. So I go right in and watch it again. Even if it's a game, it's worse when they lose because I have to go right away and watch it again. And I'm like, okay. But they don't lose a lot, which is great. So I appreciate that. Yo, Twimmy, thanks for the 99 cents. And then American 1020 with another 10 bomb said, thanks for all you guys do for the kingdom. Sorry, been absent. Guys, missed y'all. Love you, HBTC. We ate tacos tonight on Taco. Oh, it's not Taco Tuesday. On Taco Wednesday. All right, let's go, dude. I appreciate you, man. I'm glad to see you in here, 1020. Glad you're doing okay. And heck yeah, man. Kylie, appreciate you as always. And
thank you.
Next week we will be back, hopefully celebrating another win against the Broncos. And then we're going to be talking Chiefs-Dolphins in Germany, which is going to be crazy.
It's really crazy.
Heck yeah. Appreciate y'all as always. Thanks for all the super chats, the memberships, the gifteds, everybody hanging out. We appreciate you more than you know. And until next time, let's go.
Let's freaking go.
How about those Chiefs?